Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Club. This is the place everyday real estate investors gather to share their best stories, biggest insights, and favorite tactics to grow a portfolio of cash-flowing properties in today's market. Here's your host, Gabe Peterson.
All right, we are back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys are having a great day, whatever day it is for you. And wherever you are, as always, it's Friday on the podcast, so bringing that Friday energy. And we got a good day because we got Chris Eymann with us on the show. Chris is with Sell Wholesale Houses. So everybody out there who is interested in wholesaling, that's what you're interested in. This is the episode to be listening to tune into. Chris does wholesaling as well as hard money lending. So a lot to go into here. Chris, thanks for hopping on the show.
Hey, I appreciate it. It's always fun to get on these things.
All right. I told you before we got on here, we always like starting with stories. We like to hear how people got to where they are. So why don't you take us back to the beginning of your story in real estate and tell us how you got here?
Yeah, so I wish I had this fun little great, inspirational story where I just jumped into real estate, but I don't have one of those, unfortunately. I was a tech guy. I went to college for math and IT, and then I got laid off twice in the tech downturn, like the late 90s. And then, so laid off once, I'm like, I went and got my real estate license because I was jobless and I thought I was selling my house and I wanted to save the 3%.
Reasonable.
So I got my real estate license, got another job quickly, worked there for like 9 months and got laid off again. And then I was just like, I'm not going to let someone pick when I can and cannot work. So I got a listing, sold it, made $9,000, and I drove a buyer around for 5 weeks to just have her call me on week 6 and said, hey, you're out of town. I drove by this house. It looks perfect. I called the agent off the sign. He let me in. And so I'm like, I'm never doing buyers again. And so how do I get listings? But I didn't want to be the sales guy because I'm more of a tech guy and not a sales guy in the living room. So I'm like, found out about foreclosures. I'm like, I'm just going to go to the courthouse steps, buy some foreclosures, fix them up and sell them. And I went and borrowed $60,000 on my house and started being a fix and flip guy.
Nice. I like it. And yeah, I started out in the corporate world too. And it doesn't matter how high up you get, how much money you're making in corporate, it's never secure. You're not truly in control of your destiny because you can always get fired and it can be for reasons that are 100% out of your control. You can be crushing it. And for whatever reason, the company downsizes and your department gets hit. And so that's why I love real estate. It allows you control. You can have down years or down months and it can be rough for a little bit, but you're always the one who is in the driver's seat and making those decisions. So awesome that you found some success in real estate. So you started out as a broker. At what point did you start realizing that wholesaling is what you wanted to do?
So I actually wasn't a broker. I was actually just buying house at the courthouse step, fix it up, and then list it, right? And I was just listing my own property, right? So I had to do all the disclosures, like I'm an owner agent, that kind of thing. And then, I'm just networking, and they're like, okay, you went to IT, now you're in real estate. Like, yeah, are you an agent? That's everybody's first question. Are you an agent? I'm like, no, I fix up my own houses and I'm selling them. I'm like, where do you find them? I'm like, I just go to foreclosure sales. Like, nobody does that. That's where the mafia lives. I'm like, well, I do. And they're like, can you get me one? I'd like to try that. And he's like, what do you make per house? I'm like, I don't know. I'd make like $15,000 net after hard money costs, fixing up costs, sales costs. They're like, oh, how many are you doing a year? And I'm like, I had to replace my salary. So I'm trying to do at least 7 to 10 a year right now because I want to replace my salary. So yeah, I just, then the next guy is like, get me one. And he makes money on it. Next thing I know, I buy one and I have 10 people on the list. And I'm like, hey, I got this one. If you want to research it and buy it, I bought it for $100. I'll sell it to you for $104. If you like it, let me know. If not, I'm going to buy it myself and do it myself. This is in 2020, right? So before Instagram, it's YouTube and, all the stuff. So like I was probably a wholesaler before the word was invented. So
yeah. Wholesaling, if you creating or using wholesaling as your primary business, I found it as it's just really difficult because of the churn. So it really comes down to setting up those systems and getting a really solid lead flow coming in. How are you been able to, breach that hurdle and get leads coming in every single day that are quality leads, that are people that are actually willing to sell at a discounted price so it can be wholesaled?
So like I said, because of my math background and skill set, I was literally from 2000 to 2017 only buying foreclosures. Literally courthouse steps. Just do the math. Here's what it's worth. Here's what the rehab is. Here's your bid number. I mean, I literally had to, because the foreclosures backed off, I really had to retool in like 2017. So I joined actually a mastermind to help me with marketing, sales conversion, CRM. Like I didn't have any of that stuff. So literally had to retool in 2017 and basically learn a complete new discipline.
Yeah.
And then, since then I've mailed PPL, PPC, all the different acquisition styles, had to actually learn how the sales process works, CRMs, follow up, so basically reinvented myself.
Nice. Well, yeah, let's dive deeper into that reinvention. I mean, you're just doing foreclosures from the courthouse steps and then actually going to creating a business, setting up the marketing systems. It's a pretty big leap, but it's something that everybody who's interested in wholesaling, who wants to make that their position in real estate, they need to master these things. So let's talk about it in depth a little bit. You've already mentioned a few channels that you use to generate leads. You mentioned PPC, pay-per-click, which is Google, Facebook, etc. Facebook isn't pay-per-click, but Google is pay-per-click, and then PPL, pay-per-lead. Other companies out there that are generating leads, and you buy them from them. So tell us, what is your go-to favorite way to generate leads on the marketing side?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the cold calling text really got big in 18, 19, and your cost per lead was way down. So that was kind of like, where I was focused on the most. Your cost per contract was way down, but once again, the carriers got involved with texting, and then, once again, pivoting again. So now it's back to, mainly PPL and PPC are kind of like the bread and butter. The lead is obviously way better of a lead because they're calling you and they're ready to sell, versus the outbound version, which, takes, maybe 120 to 150 days on a sales cycle between the lead coming in and actually, closing the deal, versus like a PPL or a PPC is probably closer to 30 days. The average is a little longer than that, but that's because like every now and then you get the probate one that you got to like work really good for 90 days. But if you dropped out the probate lead, it's probably less than 30 days from lead to close.
Yeah. So let's talk about PPC. What are you paying? What markets are you in actually? What area are you looking at?
Phoenix and Florida are the main markets. Yeah.
Yeah, because it'll really depend. PPC varies so much across the country, depending 100%. On what market you're at. So what are you guys paying? Let's do per lead, and then what's your conversion rate from the lead to contract?
So per lead in Phoenix is probably $400.
$400 per lead. Holy wow!
In Phoenix, and you're probably converting 1 in 10 and 1 in 11. So your cost per contract might be $4,500.
Wow, that's actually more than I expected. That's pretty crazy.
But Phoenix, like you said, Florida is different. Florida's probably bouncing $250 to $300 a lead.
Yeah. Interesting. So how many, I mean, do you have the numbers through the, top of funnel to the bottom? What is your per click cost there?
I don't actually know the per click cost. I just know kind of more of the per lead cost, if you
Yeah.
will. So actually someone, and then like I said, our sales guys are in that, 1 to 10, 1 to 11 conversion ratio.
hmm
Like I said, I belong to the mastermind, so I watch the stats. Like if you're like a 1 to 7, you're like a, superhero, Superman on your shirt conversion sales guy. And if you're, 7 to 12, you're kind of middle of the pack. And if you're 12 to 15, maybe make sure that you get your skills better, or you might be looking for a new job.
Yeah. What, so when you're running PPC ads, I mean, you're using Google ads, right? Whatever Google
Yeah.
ads do you guys do? I mean, in Google, there's a bunch of different ways you can run ads. There's Google Maps, there's performance, there's only pay per click, the search
Yeah.
ads. What type of ads are you guys running?
So we're just, we're just buying that, that sponsored on the top thing.
Yeah,
But
search.
I don't actually, to tell you the truth, I don't actually run it. I pay a company, basically. I think I pay about $1,500 to $2,000 a month for them to run the ads, stay on top of the ads, so that's not in that cost, but,
Hmm.
and we balance our budget between, call it $8,000 and $15,000 a month. So,
Okay. So you're paying the company $2,000 a month, and then you spend an additional, you said eight, so $6,000 in ad spend.
yeah.
Okay. And so you guys are getting about 2 contracts per month.
Yep.
Got it. And then from contract to close, what's your conversion rate there?
We're actually pretty good. I think we only have like a 20% fallout, if you will. But yeah, so obviously some fallout for title reasons and other stuff like that.
Okay.
And then the PPL numbers are more of like, obviously that's not as quality of a lead. That's probably a 1 in 20, but cheaper. Like it's more of like a $200 to $250 lead cost. And then you're just on the cycle you buy, you say, hey, I'm willing to spend this much money. And then when the lead comes in, it comes in. So.
Yeah. And with PPC, you really can't, you're spending so much on these leads, you can't let them fall through the cracks at all. So what is your strategy for the inbound leads? Say they give you, they're all call leads, I'm assuming. So are they landing on a landing page, or
Yeah,
is
it's
it
a landing
just
page. So it's either a call lead or they fill out a form.
okay?
But the follow-up cadence is like, obviously the phone gets sent to multiple people, the call gets sent to multiple people, so multiple people can answer the call. So you never miss an inbound call, or you should never miss an inbound call.
Yeah.
Because the stats of missing that inbound call, your chance of conversion drops less than 50%, right?
Yeah.
So you're trying to get the inbound call. If it's a form, it's 3 calls that day, 3 calls the next day, 3 calls the next day. It's
Aggressive.
then 2 texts. It's nutty. It's like the form filled out. They're willing to sell 123 Main Street. It hits your email. Call immediately. Call in an hour. Call later that day. Send a text message. The next morning, call again. Call 2 hours later. Call mid. Send 3 texts. It's not something that you just think that, oh, I'm going to go sign up for leads and get some leads in and then just kind of forget about it.
Yeah. That's why I like, whenever people first get into real estate, they always hear about wholesaling and they're like, you don't need any money. You can just get in there and make $100,000 in a month. And I always tell people that say that, I'm like, you don't understand how much money it actually does take to get these leads. Sure,
Yeah.
you can sit at a desk and call people, but you're not going to get the volume that you're looking for. In order to do it, you need a team, you need inbound leads, and it takes money. It's $10,000 a month easy in order to get 1 contract. And so, yeah, I like that you're going through the nuts and bolts of how it's working, so then people can see wholesaling it's a business. You have to have everything dialed in. And especially the follow up, because chances are, if you don't pick it up on that first call, you're gonna miss the sale. And so, Yeah, that's interesting. It's good to hear the, top to bottom. How about your sales team, the people that are actually picking up the phone? How many people do you got there?
So I actually structured my business a little bit different. I'm not a big guy on like management and employees and all that kind of stuff. So I'm a little older. My son went to University of Arizona and came out, and he actually got in the business. And so I did a lot of JV deals
Okay.
where I would, people would start out. I'd be like, "Hey, bring me all your deals. I'll buy them." I'm used to putting out $10,000 check at the foreclosure sale, sight unseen house, and buying it. So like, hey, bring me your deal. So I actually work the PPL, the PPC with kind of my son. He went to a fraternity, so there's a lot of sales guys in the fraternity. So what I did is recruited people and like, hey, I'll do the budget. I'll pay for the budget. I get my money back first, and then we split profits. And so, as opposed to having a sales guy that is commission based and all that, I have more of like entrepreneurial mid-20s. Got a little coaching from me, but then they had the sales skills that I feel you can obviously teach sales, but I kind of feel like some sales skills are just natural. Like they just rapport building, conversation. Wasn't really my strong suit. So that's why I always just went to the trustee sales. I dabbled in some of this myself when I was younger, and I was just like, my conversion ratio is not good. So,
Yeah.
so that was my way of scaling those. So I got a guy that does mail. I got a guy that does PPL. I got a guy that does PPC. And what's great is I don't have to manage them, because if they don't make money, like we just shut off the channel and there ain't a business. So
Yeah. Before we continue on with today's guest, I want to tell you guys about a community I'm launching on School to help investors like yourself grow your own portfolio. In this community, you'll get access to all the docs I use, all the systems I've built, everything I've used to grow my own portfolio, as well as instructions and guidance on how to get out there and find great deals, how to finance those deals, and then how to manage them for great returns. Since we're just launching it, the price will be set at a measly $20 per month, and whatever price you join at is the price you'll have for life. We will be increasing the price as the group grows, so if you're at all interested in growing your portfolio along other investors, now is the time to join. I will put the link somewhere in the bio or on our podcast website at therealestateinvestingclub.com, so if you are interested, head on over there. With that said, let's get back to the podcast. Well, yeah, I mean, and it goes to show that you're sticking to your strengths. Even if you are good at the thing, if it doesn't give you energy, if maybe you are good at sales, but you just dread it and you can't it's hard to pick up the phone and you just really don't like doing it. Finding somebody who gets energized by getting into sales it can make your business go a lot further and a lot faster. So it sounds like you're doing the right things. You've also mentioned that you started a hard money business. So you also lend to flippers who are probably buying your wholesale deals. Tell us about that process. How did they get started? And then how's it been going since then?
Yeah, so they're buying from you wholesale, and the customer is basically sitting in your office, right? They're buying the house from you. So, I just learned that like, hey, I could refer them off to another hard money lender, or I could generate the note myself. And then I just wholesale notes like I do houses, right? So,
interesting.
Here's a note. The guy's, I'm going to use round numbers. It's worth $300. He's buying it 70 cents on the dollar for $210. I make him put 15% down. I'm going to round. I'm going to say the loan's 180. I generate that note at 12.9%. Put it all together. Use my cash. And then I got this other pool of guys, so obviously I got the wholesale pool. I email out my properties. They buy them. I got this other pool of guys that are like, hey, I'll sell you notes at 10%. First position, kind of 60 cents on the dollar. And then I just kind of email those out, if you will. And then you might say, hey, I'll take that note. I got some IRA money. I'll take that note at, 180, and you park your money and you get your 10%. And the checks come in monthly, and when it pays off, the average loan length is like 150 days. When it pays off, you get your money back. You want to redeploy it, you redeploy it. And I've never actually raised money. It's just grown. So I manage about $50 million ish, bounces between 50 and 60 million bucks. And, that's how.
That's interesting. Yeah. I've heard of, the secondary market for hard money loans, and, it's an interesting market. It makes a lot of sense for both parties, and it's interesting. Is there a reason why you don't choose to keep the loan yourself versus sell it off?
Well, so I have my own cash, but my cash funds it, and then I have to replace my cash, just like any mortgage broker does in a business. I got to replace my cash just to bring it back in, so then I can refund another loan.
Got it. That makes sense. You want your money working a little bit faster for you. Cool.
Yeah. So and then we're a licensed banker, so I service the loan. I don't charge the investor the servicing fee, and we just keep going. Now, we want to grow the business, so I actually am in the middle of generating my first fund. I'll probably have that open in 2 to 3 weeks, and met with a couple banks, so we're going to leverage that fund at like 50%. So just, when you sell an individual note, like Phoenix in 2010, the market had dropped, prices were cheaper, but now the median home price is $450. So like to sell a note that's 180, not everybody has 180. And I'll have people say, hey, I'll give you $100,000. I'm like, well, I don't have any notes for $100,000. So I actually started a fund so I could take some of those guys. It's like, hey, I'll give you $100,000. I'm like, great. I got this fund that you can put your money in, and it's blended. It's, there's a bunch of people in the fund. It's going to have this many hard money assets. So, if one goes bad, there'll be a small little hiccup, but, be blended over everybody in the fund.
Yeah. Diversified. Yeah. The fund model is, it sounds nice, especially I'm just thinking we buy mobile home parks, RV parks, self-storage facilities, and doing them one-off syndications is fine. But having a fund just makes it so more flexible, and you're able to move a little bit quicker. Yeah. So makes a lot of sense.
That's the space that I've always watched from the outside is like the mobile home park business. My buddy owns like 2,000 spaces, and I was like, and he got in like 2010, and then his cash flow is unreal.
Yeah, mobile home parks are great. All right, so we have passed the 20-minute mark, but before we move on to the quick question round, I got to ask, for people who are interested in getting started as a wholesaler, what's a couple pieces of advice you can give them?
Consistency. Like if you start up for 2 weeks and you give up, and then you start up a week, 2 weeks later and go away. I mean, consistency obviously is huge when getting set up. Building obviously you got to find the leads, but then you got to find somebody like me who kind of can JV with you on the disposition side. And then another thing, that we help new guys with is like ask guys like me for underwriting, because like every new guy that hits the market, I run the local RIA, and so they'll reach out to me on DMs or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I'll underwrite it for you. I'll tell you what we can sell it for. So you just work the acquisition side, and we'll take care of it. And I'll throw up your $3,000 to $5,000 EMD if necessary. You just go find the deals. Nice. So, and I'm sure there's a guy like me in every market.
Yeah, no, absolutely there is. All right, with that, I'm going to push us to the quick question round. Are you ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. Starts with education. It could be any form. It could be a book you've read, a movie you've seen, a conference you've gone to, a mentorship program you've been a part of. I just need 2 recommendations, one for general life wisdom and then one for real estate or business.
I belong to a mastermind, and I didn't have any of the tools when I got started. Yeah. Like in 99, 2002, like there were no tools. Like, so a mastermind, I think has been a huge benefit to me. I joined in 2017. And then
you want to give them a shout out?
Huh?
Do you want to give the mastermind that you're in a shout out?
Yeah, I do. I belong to Collective Genius.
In front of them.
And they've scaled now. So they have the intro market, the mid-level market. You're like a, 50 to 60 a year guy. I'm in the premier, which is like 100 houses a year plus. And I've been in it since 2017. So it's, and then just on the personal level, I don't know. I'm not like I said, I'm a tech guy. I don't do a lot of reading. I'm a podcast guy, but I've always just kind of like, I read one book. I don't remember the name of it, but it just talked about the core values. Just, be polite, be honest, I know it sounds, it sounds hard for a lot of people, but just do it right. Like if you just do it right, then you don't have to worry about anybody knocking on your door.
There you go. All right. Next question is for your younger self. Let's go back to the Chris who was he just got laid off that second time. Go back to him, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward. And I take action, but don't be scared. Don't be like, you could be, I've been successful in this business, but I still have fears that, getting on Instagram, it took me, I saw everybody else doing it. It took me, 3 to 4 years to I saw people doing YouTube. It took me 3 to 4 years before here I am, probably been in the business longer than most, but yet I'm still scared. Yeah. Well, yeah, and it happens to everybody. We all have our fears, and procrastination, that's something that hits me, especially if I'm procrastinating, I know that whatever the thing I'm procrastinating on, I have some fear about it, and I just need to get it done, because action is what kills fear. All you got to do is just take action, even when you're feeling that fear, and eventually it'll go away. It'll be replaced by confidence. And so, understandable. Moving us on to the next question. This is about the U.S. It's a big place. There's a lot of opportunity out there. Give me the single metro you're most excited about investing in today.
I'm still just a Phoenix guy. I mean, I've seen Phoenix grow. I've been there for 50 years. So, but watching, like our higher end market, it's real estate sluggish. Our higher end market's still on fire, just because you have all these guys coming out of Washington and California, and you used to be able to buy a high end house and you'd be living in the best neighborhood for $2 million in Phoenix. Not anymore. But I still think companies, the big Taiwan plant, the chip manufacturer is in Phoenix. The Taiwan chip manufacturer that they're moving to the U.S. to just so in case something happens with Taiwan, we got another plant here. Things as big as some cities.
That's crazy. Right on. All right. Next question is lessons learned. Not every deal that we get into goes the way we expect it. In fact, many times, if not every single time, something will go wrong, and we get to learn a lesson. So what was a deal that went a little sideways for you? And then what was the lesson you pulled from it?
Well, I had a hard money business in 2007, and I had a personal guarantee on $100 million. So I lost $4.8 million in 2002. So I don't sign personal guarantees. So that was probably my single biggest lesson. But once again, if you look at all your successes and you look at all your failures, I bet you take more away from your failures than you do your successes, right?
Yeah. Well, and it goes to show, you lost, what'd you say, $4.8 million, but you're back at it again today. You're up on top. And so no matter how deep the lows get, you can always pull yourself out, just take one step after the other. Eventually you'll be back up on top. So good to hear. And that leads us to the last question. This is for the listeners. You've given us a lot to think about. I'm sure people want to reach out, get in contact with you. This is a two-parter. Where can they find you? And then what can they expect when they reach out?
I'm just, you can find me. The most channel I watch is Instagram. It's just Chris_Eymann. You can DM me. It's me answering the DMs. I'm not it's not, it's not a VA or something like that. It's me. I do a Just for Flips YouTube channel. I've got 300 videos on wholesaling or buying notes or selling notes or novations or creative financing or anything like that. But if you want to DM me on Instagram, I'm the one responding. So
cool. I will put those links in the show notes. So if you guys want to reach out to Chris, all you got to do is click the little more in the description. It'll pull down the full description, and in there you can find his links. All right, man. That wraps it up. Thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Absolutely. For everybody who's with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. If you guys want to support the show, just leave us a review. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. All right, before I officially sign off, I have a quick announcement to make. If you're interested in becoming a passive investor in one of my deals, my own company, Kaizen Properties, is looking for capital partners for our upcoming projects. We invest in what are known as recession-resistant assets, mainly self-storage facilities, mobile home and RV parks, and industrial properties. If you're interested in investing and would like to learn a little bit more about my company, our investing criteria, and some of the previous projects we've done, go to the Real Estate Investing Club podcast at therealestateinvestingclub.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. Click on the Invest With Us button. That'll pop up the investor form. Fill that out, and we will reach back out to you as soon as we can. Or if you prefer a little bit more of a personal touch, you can reach out to me at gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. So really, that is it. Again, it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys during this episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.